Intamco is brought us to TechCorner this week. It is, Dirk, it's a Bluetooth transmitter, I believe.
Yes, it is. This is, well, it looks like a cell phone. It's the size of a cell phone, but it isn't a cell phone. This is a cell phone. This is my Samsung Charge. And this is the iBlue. This is an industrial Bluetooth transmitter from Itamco. That is the Indiana Technology and Manufacturing Companies, based in, well, strangely enough, Indiana.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. This was actually initially developed by Itamco because they needed, on their own shop floor, on their own machining centers, they needed a way for their employees to easily be able to capture measurement data and transmit it to their portable devices, or whether it's initially it was designed for iPhone, iPad, and there were some apps that went with that, and there still are. But because it was Bluetooth, it actually made this data available to any Bluetooth device, whether it's an iPhone, an iPad, an Android phone, or a tablet, or as I'm going to use it today because it's easier to show you, a laptop. So as long as it's Bluetooth capable, it can accept measurement data using this Bluetooth transmitter. So let's take a little quick look at it. If we go to the gauge cam here, you can see, if I center this in the camera, basically on the business end of it, this is the iBlue, we've got three connectors. We've got a K-type thermocouple connector. We've got, of all things, a Lieb hardness tester connector. That was because, remember, this was initially designed for their own folks, and they were using Lieb hardness testers out on the shop floor, so they left it with a device when they made it commercial. And also a USB connector, and this is really what I want to talk about today. So the importance about, let's say, a USB connector is that if you have more and more devices, more and more measurement devices do have USB outputs, or if they don't, the companies that make those devices, let's say Mitutoyo or Starrett and so forth, are creating adapter cables that will adapt their proprietary outputs to a USB so that you can more easily connect their equipment, their measurement equipment, calipers, dial gauges, etc., into a laptop or computer. So let's take a look at one. For instance, Mitutoyo, if we come back to the gauge cam here, Mitutoyo sent us a quantum mic. This is an IP65 rated coolant-proof micrometer from Mitutoyo. This has a Digimatic output, but Mitutoyo sent along with us a USB adapter cable. So this will take the Digimatic output of the Mitutoyo micrometer and send it to a USB connector so I can plug this into any laptop or any USB capable device. I also happen to have here a Mitutoyo caliper. And this also has a Digimatic output. I could also connect an adapter cable, Digimatic to USB, and bring it into my laptop. Starrett does the same thing. Other companies do the same thing. But what we're going to do today is, rather than take this USB and bring it into our laptop, we're going to bring it right into the iBlue. So I'm going to plug this into the iBlue, and I'm also going to plug in a thermocouple, and I'll show you why. I think actually having a thermocouple on the iBlue, a thermocouple input, is actually brilliant because it really lets you do something that I think is important. So let's go to our screen share here. What we have here on my laptop is a Google Doc. If you're not familiar with Google Doc, Google Docs are applications as a service provided by Google on the cloud. They have a Word-like document format, and they also have an Excel spreadsheet type format. Because they're on the cloud, anybody can share them. That's how you get your collaboration. That's actually how we work around here. So I've created a little spreadsheet, and I've created some columns: date, temperature, length, and height. So let's say I have a repetitive process. I'm going out to the shop floor every day, let's say, and measuring something in order to monitor my process. So I might go in and enter the date. Now I want to take a temperature. Well, if we come back to the gauge cam here, I have a little temperature button on the iBlue, which captures the data from the thermocouple. So I press that. Now if we come back to our screen share, we'll see that this data has been sent to our temperature column in the in my spreadsheet here. So now I've captured my temperature, and now I'm going to take some measurements, and we can just stay on the screen here. I'm just going to press the measurement button on my micrometer, and we see it captures a measurement, and maybe I'll take another one. And remember, this data is being transmitted wirelessly via Bluetooth, and maybe I take another measurement and another measurement. And let's say I come over to the height column, and I take some more measurements on something else, and we'll do all that, right? And this is, again, all wireless. So what do I have now? Well, at the end of the day, what I've got is a date, a temperature, and my measurements. What does that mean? That means that I could come back, let's say a week later or the next day, put in another date, another temperature, take some more length and height measurements, and now what I have is data. I can analyze my data not only over time and see variation over time, I can see variation over temperature range. And to me it makes perfect sense to do that because a thermocouple is cheap, it's already built into the iBlue, so why not take temperature readings at the same time? To me, it's just another point of data that's going to allow you to analyze your data a little bit more fully in the future. Now, I mentioned that iTamco developed this for themselves. So their main goal was, number one, that it would communicate with any mobile device, and number two, that it would be relatively inexpensive. And it is. This is $499. And remember, all you need is this box, it's the transmitter, you already have the receiver. If you have a Bluetooth device, you've already got your data receiver. You don't need to buy anything else other than whatever equipment you're going to tie into this. So you might be asking yourself, well, why, if I have, let's say, a Mitutoyo micrometer, why would I get the iBlue? Why don't I just go to Mitutoyo and get their wireless system, because they do have one? It's a great question, and to me, this is where it comes down to, what do you need? Mitutoyo does make a wireless system. I believe it's called the U-Wave. It's a great system. It allows you to monitor up to 99 devices at a time, but it's a transmitter and a receiver, and it hooks into a computer. It's not a mobile device. It's not intended to communicate to your smartphone. If you need that, then your choice is going to be something like this. The drawback on this is, obviously, one device at a time, not 99. So, but then again, it's only $500. So to me, what's important on this show is that you always understand what your trade-offs are. There are low-cost devices that do a great job, and if they fall within your needs, go low cost is what I say. If you need something with the expanded capabilities that you might get from a Mitutoyo wireless system or a Starrett wireless system or a micro gauge, if you need that and the money isn't an object, and it meets your needs, then that's the way that you have to go. So there's always these little trade-offs. Now, I mentioned that the iBlue only allows you one USB input. According to iTamco, next quarter of next year, so the beginning of next year, they are going to update the firmware on this so that you could tie in, let's say, a multi-port USB hub and connect multiple devices. So for instance, you might hook in a 4-port USB hub, and that would allow you to hook up to maybe 4 USB devices instead of 1 as it is right now. So this is the iBlue from iTamco. If you need more information on it, there is a link below the player page. And once again, thanks to iTamco for sending us the iBlue to look at today.